When the billionaire walked in at midnight, he was shocked by his daughter's secret. The clock struck midnight, echoing through the lavish halls of the Harrington estate. The shadows danced, shimmering off the walls, each flickering candlelight revealing hints of extravagant decay. It felt like the perfect backdrop for a twisted revelation, and tonight, the air buzzed with an electric tension. Without warning, the heavy wooden door swung open, creaking like a ghost from a forgotten tale. Samuel Harrington, the billionaire mogul known for his ruthless business moves, strode inside. His heart raced, an unexpected sense of foreboding clawing at him like a live wire. Something was off. His daughter, Lily, usually so vibrant and full of life, now sat hunched over in the grand parlor, her expression uncharacteristically grim. The faint sound of a music box played a haunting lullaby, dissonant with the heavy silence that cloaked the room. Samuel approached, his senses heightened. The air smelled of jasmine and something else, something metallic. His chest tightened. What had happened here? Dad, Lily's voice trembled, barely a whisper, her hands quaking as they clutched a tattered notebook. The pages were dog-eared and stained, as if it had been read under duress, its secrets worn raw. Samuel leaned closer, eyes narrowing on the sketches that flickered between the pages. These weren't just doodles. They were dark, vivid, and intricate, featuring nightmarish creatures and cryptic symbols that seemed to pulse with latent energy. Samuel's mind raced. How long had she been hiding this? His gut twisted. She was just a girl. Hadn't she always been his little princess, sheltered from the dark corners of the world? Questions burned in his throat, desperate to escape. But Lily's wide, fearful eyes darted to something behind him, and Samuel's heart lurched with dread. Before I answer you, you have to understand what? The words fell from his mouth like lead, heavy with fear. The silence was suffocating, thick with unspoken truths. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon, and while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Lily's breath caught in her throat. There's a secret about our family, something I found out. Her hands shook, and Samuel could see the fear etched across her features. The room held its breath as he leaned in, desperate for the answer that could shatter everything he thought he knew about their lives. What is it? He urged, feeling the walls close in around him. But the moment hung heavy, silence threatening to swallow them whole. And then, just as he was about to pull her closer, a window shattered somewhere in the darkness outside, echoing like a gunshot, leaving his heart racing even faster. Was it a warning? A prelude to disaster? Samuel's world felt dizzy, spinning into the unknown. As he glanced outside, shadows moved in the moonlight, figures darting, dark shapes lurking just beyond the light. There was something out there, something that connected to this secret, something that could change everything. But what? With the tension boiling, he turned back to Lily, ready to confront whatever monster lay ahead. But she was already staring at the door, her eyes wide with terror. Dad, we're not alone. What had they awakened? Samuel's stomach twisted into knots. He felt the blood drain from his face as Lily's eyes remained locked on the door, wide and frantic. It was as if a storm raged behind that wooden barrier, threatening to spill into the dimly lit parlor. What do you mean we're not alone? He urged, his voice rising above the tension. Panic flickered in her gaze, sparking an alarm deep within him. I can feel it, she stuttered, her trembling hands still clutching the notebook as if it were a shield. Someone, it wants us. He crept toward the door, heart pounding in sync with the shadows flickering against the walls. Stay here, Lily, he whispered fiercely, though his gut twisted at the thought of leaving her side. As he approached, he could hear it. The whispering wind seemed to carry voices, an eerie murmur weaving through the estate like an unwelcome guest. He pressed his ear against the cold wood, straining to catch words. But the sounds faded, replaced by a deafening silence that enveloped them once more. "Please, Dad." Lily's voice was barely audible now, a trembling plea that clawed at his resolve. Each second felt like an eternity, tension snapping at the edges, pulling him back, urging him to reconsider. But then another crash echoed through the estate, a different window breaking this time, splintering glass scattering like fallen stars. Samuel's heart raced. His instincts screamed at him to take action. "Get behind me," he commanded, quickly turning to shield his daughter. He clenched his fists, eyes flicking toward the darkened corners of the room, all the while feeling the weight of Lily's frightened gaze on his back. He had faced billion-dollar deals, hostile corporate takeovers, but this was unimaginable. With a deep breath, he steeled himself. "Who's there?" he shouted, voice ringing out like a battle cry. Silence answered, a thick, oppressive quiet that suffocated them both. "Dad?" Lily whispered, stepping even closer, her voice breaking. Suddenly, a low, guttural growl rumbled from beyond the door, reverberating through the floorboards. Something was out there, something that didn't belong to this world. Samuel clenched his jaw, mind racing. He looked at Lily, and in that brief moment, he saw the girl he had always protected, on the verge of losing everything. "Lily, I need you to trust me," he said firmly. "Whatever is out there, we will face it together." He guided her to a side table, pushing it in front of them as a makeshift barricade, adrenaline fueling his every move. "I know about the sketches, about the things you've seen," Samuel continued, his voice low but steady. "No matter what happens tonight, we'll get through this. But I need you to tell me everything you know." Lily's eyes darted to the notebook. "I found something in our family history. It's about a pact. Something dark." Her voice trembled. "But I didn't want to believe it until now." Just then, the door rattled violently, something banging against it, angry and determined. Samuel's heart raced, his every instinct wired for survival. They were not just caught in a family scandal. They were entangled in something much deeper, something that had festered through generations. "What do we do?" Lily cried, and he could hear the raw fear in her voice. Any second now, whatever was outside would break through, unleashing chaos. "We fight," Samuel growled, resolve surging through him. He could not let fear take over. "Not now. Whatever comes in, we're ready." The noise intensified, wood creaking, splintering, and then it happened. The door burst open, flinging shards of wood into the air. He braced himself, ready for whatever hell would unfurl. But as the darkness surged inside, a chilling realization hit him. What if they weren't the ones hunted? What if they were the prey? The shadows shifted, coiling as more figures stepped into the light, their faces hidden, but the energy pulsed like a living nightmare. And then it became clear. Samuel had opened a door he could never close. What had they awakened? What more lay beyond the veil of darkness? Samuel's breath hitched as the figures surged forward, cloaked in darkness, their intent invisible yet palpable. The room, once a refuge, felt more like a cage now, closing in around them. Lily squeezed his arm tighter, her small, trembling frame pressed against him. "Dad, what are they?" she whispered, fear cracking her voice as if a thin glass had shattered unseen. He could only shake his head. "Stay close." Just then, one of the figures stepped into the weak glow of the parlor, revealing a face wrapped in shadows but marked by familiarity. Samuel squinted, recognition cutting through his confusion like a knife. "Ms. Henderson?" he gasped. She was his late partner's sister, a woman he thought had vanished years ago. Lily's eyes widened. "You know her?" "Not like this," he said, heart racing, memories flooding back, memories of a time when the estate was a gathering point for family and friends, before the shadows took hold. "Help us." Miss Henderson's voice trembled, but the urgency clashed with an eerie calm. "You've stirred forces that cannot be contained." Her warning echoed deep in Samuel's chest, reverberating with the fear that gnawed at him. "What do you mean? We didn't ask for this." The shadowy figures behind her grew restless, shifting as if their very existence flickered like a dim flame. You need to understand, she continued, stepping closer, tone firm yet desperate. Our family has always possessed secrets, dark ones that lie in the heart of this land. You must choose, protect them or risk losing everything. Lily whimpered, and Samuel felt the heaviness of dread settle like lead in his stomach. What kind of choice? A chill emanated from the shadows and slunk closer, wrapping around them. The air turned thick and suffocating, the shadows practically breathing. The pact, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. It requires sacrifice, and once awakened, it demands a payment. Payment? Samuel shouted, anger igniting his fear. What does that even mean? You will understand soon enough, Miss Henderson replied, eyes darting back toward the encroaching figures. Either you'll join them or they will claim you. Samuel took a step back, instinctively shielding Lily, who stared up at him, wide-eyed and shaking. We won't join anything, he declared, the determination surging within him. We'll find a way out of this together. Lily's grip tightened as thunder crashed in the sky, echoing ominously. Dad, we can't fight this. They'll get us. Even as panic raced through him, Samuel's resolve hardened. Not if we figure out what they want. Tell me everything you know, Lily. We don't have time. I don't know, she stammered, pointing at the notebook on the table. But what I drew, it's related to the estate. The edges, they're alive, Dad. They can eat your soul. His heart dropped as whispers swirled around them, rushing like a flock of crows, filling the air. The shadows began to pulse, intensifying their darkness as they encroached. Lily, focus. Our family history could be the key, Samuel urged, his eyes darting around for anything they could use, a ritual, a formula, a way to banish these figures. What kind of storms had they awakened? As the shadows hissed and flickered, a figure stepped forward, cloaked in a frayed robe, face obscured. A low, bone-chilling laugh rumbled through the room. So you're still clinging to hope. Hope is for the naive. In an instant, Lily's notebook flew open, pages ruffling violently as if caught in an unseen wind. Words sprang off the pages, swirling like a vortex. Look, Samuel yelled, biting back his fear. The air ignited with chaos, the otherworldly swirling intensifying. What is it saying? As the darkness began to swirl violently, threatening to pull them in, Samuel realized the truth. The pact was theirs to break, but the cost could destroy them both. And then, just as it seemed the shadows would consume them entirely, a blinding light erupted from the pages of the notebook, a beacon against the encroaching darkness. Lily, hold on, Samuel called, grabbing her hand tight. They could either allow themselves to be swallowed or embrace whatever this light promised, even if it led to chaos. But against a world that demanded sacrifice, would they discover liberation or face their darkest fears? As the light expanded, Samuel felt the ground beneath him quake. What lay ahead could shift everything. Where would the light lead them? Would it reveal a way out or plunge them deeper into darkness? The light surged, blinding and intense, forcing the shadows to shriek like trapped animals. Samuel's heart raced as he felt it tugging at him, a force pulling him toward an unknown destiny. He tightened his grip on Lily, fearing they could be torn apart at any moment. Stay with me, he shouted over the cacophony, their surroundings contorting, the walls of the parlor bending as if they were alive. The whispers from the shadowy figures morphed into a mantra, echoing the words of the pact. Sacrifice, payment, claim what is yours. But Miss Henderson's voice wove through the chaos, stronger and clearer. Remember the past, Samuel. You need to confront it to break free. The light, it holds the key. The swirling words from the notebook danced panic in his chest. They were not just words. They were alive with the weight of his family's history, secrets that had been buried under time and silence. Lily, think, Samuel urged, his voice rising above the din. The drawings, what do they mean? Can they help us escape? Lily's eyes, wide with terror, shone with an odd mixture of clarity. The notebooks, they connect the estate's past to our choices. We can rewrite the ending. Rewrite? Samuel puzzled, glancing at the scattered pages swirling around them like fallen leaves. What did she mean? As if answering his question, the light exploded outward, engulfing the shadowy figures. Their cries morphed into howls of rage, but more importantly, fear. The darkness writhed, struggling against the radiant force. In that moment, Samuel saw something, a flicker of what they had lost, a family portrait. The faces of loved ones frozen in smiles from a simpler time when laughter filled these walls. But it faded, slipping back into the shadows. The pulse of the darkness grew more erratic, echoes of past regrets reverberating around him as memories rushed in. Laughter at the dinner table, gentle mornings, family gatherings, and the heartbreaking day it all unraveled. "Dad!" Lily's voice cut through the haze. The words, "The sacrifices in the past, if we know them, we can change our fate." Samuel's mind raced. They weren't just victims of a dark contract. They had the power to rewrite their legacy. They had to confront the shadows of their past to reclaim their future. With a surge of strength, he shouted into the tempest, "We are not bound by your pact." The words felt powerful, echoing through the chamber. The light responded, sparking, expanding. "We reclaim our legacy. We choose love over darkness." The shadows recoiled, beginning to crumble as the light intensified. Their cries morphed into desperate hisses, like screaming wind caught in a storm. For the first time, Samuel felt hope swell in his chest. They might just break free. But just as the darkness began to fracture, he caught a glimpse of Miss Henderson's face, a mask of horror and urgency. "Do not forget. The price you pay, there will be a cost." "What cost?" Samuel yelled, but her warning got lost in the chaos. And then, in a moment far too quick, the swell of light swallowed everything, sinking them into an abyss of brilliance so blinding it hurt. When the light dimmed, they found themselves not in the parlor, but in a dimly lit forest, shadows dancing and flickering around them. It was an otherworldly place, filled with ancient trees that whispered tales of pain and choices past. "Where are we?" Samuel breathed, the air thick with an unshakable feeling of dread. "I think we're still here," Lily said, eyes darting around. "But it feels different. More alive." The forest whispered secrets, shadows curling around the trees, as if waiting for an invitation. A chill ran down Samuel's spine. They had escaped the parlor, but at what cost? As they moved through the trees, Samuel felt the weight of destiny pressing on him. Could they navigate this strange land? Would they uncover the truth behind this darkness? And then, from behind a towering oak, a figure emerged, cloaked in shimmering light yet bound with shadow, a guardian, a key, or perhaps the harbinger of fate. "Welcome," it said, voice smooth as honey and cold as the grave. "You've chosen to enter the heart of your family's secrets. Are you ready to pay the price?" A nerve-jangling silence enveloped them as Samuel and Lily exchanged looks, confusion mixing with resolve. What price would they have to pay? Would they stand strong? Or would this choice seal their fate forever? The figure stepped closer, its outline shimmering, blurring the boundary between light and darkness. Samuel's chest tightened. It felt like this being was both a protector and a predator. "Who are you?" he demanded, his voice steady, though his heart raced. "I am the keeper of this realm," the figure replied, gesturing grandly to the forest enveloping them. "I guard the legacies of those who dare tamper with fate. You are here to confront your past and seek the truth. But remember," it leaned in closer, "truth comes at a price." Lily took a small step forward, emboldened by the charge of Samuel's presence next to her. "What does that mean? What price are we talking about?" The being smirked, a glimmer of something both mischievous and threatening flickering in its eyes. "The past is filled with pain and sacrifice. All choices have consequences, a price that weighs heavily on the heart. If you wish to rewrite your legacy, you must first acknowledge the debts you owe." Samuel felt unease crawling up his spine. Memories of his father's face, twisted in bitterness and disappointment, flashed before him. He could almost hear the echoes of arguments, the weight of shattered dreams lingering in the air like a thick fog. "What did my family sacrifice?" Samuel asked, voice dropping to a whisper. Ah, sacrifices, indeed, the figure replied, almost sing-song in its tone. A betrayal here, a lost love there. The grief of choices you never dared to acknowledge. Only by facing these shadows can you hope to escape. As it spoke, the darkened trees seemed to sway, rustling with the whispers of forgotten souls. Samuel shivered. Show us, he demanded. The need for clarity pulsed through him. They had come this far. There was no turning back now. The being's eyes glittered, and with a snap of its fingers, images sharp as glass erupted in the air around them. Samuel and Lily were suddenly engulfed in a tapestry of moments woven from their family's past. He saw fragments of tension, a figure, angry and young, drawing back his hand as if to strike. His mother, tear-streaked and frail, standing guard over a crumbling family unit. Faces flickered before him, unfamiliar yet haunting, eyes filled with regret. Stop it, Samuel cried, desperation creeping into his voice. Memories of the rift so deep, he thought it would swallow him whole, began to surface like bubbles in a tar pit. No price is paid without loss, the being spoke gently, but the coldness returned. To rewrite your story, you must acknowledge the darkness that has been etched in your heart. Lily grasped Samuel's arm, her fingers trembling. We can't let this define us. We can't just accept the pain and ruin. Hope and despair can exist in the same breath. The figure countered, almost delightfully. What will you choose? Samuel's breathing quickened. The swirling shadows seemed eager to consume him, waiting for his answer. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the forest. The ground shifted beneath them, as if the very trees were straining to listen to their answers. A surge of courage washed over Samuel. We choose to confront the darkness, he shouted defiantly. The entity tilted its head, amusement flickering across its face. So be it. But remember, all choices come with weight. In that moment, a thundering crash reverberated through the woods. A barrier stirred, causing the ground to quake, shadows pulling back, revealing more of the dense, mysterious forest. Something is coming, Lily whispered, eyes wide with terror. The ground trembled once more, an ominous feeling sweeping through the forest. Dark clouds gathered overhead, and from their depths, an ear-splitting roar echoed. A creature, not seen but felt, began pounding toward them. Quick, the figure shouted, urgency sharpening its tone. You must unearth your truths before it consumes you. Samuel stared, adrenaline pumping in his veins. They had one chance, but he knew, beneath his skin, that unveiling his family's past might not come without sacrifice. Would they find the truth, or would they pay a price darker than the shadows that haunted them? As the creature's shadow expanded, an overwhelming light threatened to drown him. I want to let us be consumed, he screamed into the gathering dark. The figure smirked, shadows swirling tighter around it. Then stand firm, for your resolve will be tested. Face the heart of your legacy, and the answer will either save or shatter you. And with that, the creature lunged into view, snarling through the dark, a harbinger of fate that demanded their answer. Fear gripped Samuel's heart. Would he be ready when the time came to confront the truth? The creature emerged from the shadows, its form a twisted amalgamation of darkness, with eyes like burning embers. Samuel's heart raced as he stumbled back, pulling Lily closer to him. The forest roared around them, a symphony of chaos blending with the creature's growls. Now, the figure urged, its voice a ghostly whisper woven through the gale. Face your past. Samuel's mind was in overdrive. What did that even mean? He searched Lily's face, her eyes wide with fear, reflecting the enormity of what lay ahead. We have to see it, he said, finding a thread of resolve in the depths of his panic. What is the truth we need to face? As if on cue, the being stepped aside, gesturing toward the creature that loomed above. Your fears manifest before you. Inside it lies the truth you dread. Lily shook her head vigorously. You can't be serious. That thing, it's not just a monster. Samuel interrupted, recognizing the shadows stretching across the ground. It's a part of us, part of our story. The creature's growl grew deeper, vibrating through their bones. Samuel could see flashes of memories swirling in its mist, moments of anger, betrayal, and sorrow. Each flicker raised chills along his skin, echoing long-buried secrets of families torn apart. He felt the weight of loss crash against him. This was not merely a battle against a beast. It was a confrontation with years of hidden trauma. "Prepare yourself," the figure shouted, urgency threading its words. "You must act quickly." Before he could think twice, Samuel stepped forward, gripping Lily's hand tightly. He took a deep breath, channeling every ounce of courage he could muster. "I acknowledge my family's pain. I accept the dark chapters that have been hidden from me." The very air shifted. The creature shrieked, arching its back like a soundless scream. It began to unravel, tendrils of smoke swirling away from its body. As it dissipated, memories leaped forth, vivid and raw: his father's anguished face, his mother's sorrowful gaze. Their voices echoed in a haunting cacophony. "What have we done?" A familiar voice, low and tormented, resonated from within Samuel. "What have we allowed to fester in silence? Those choices, they've consumed us." Images of despair surrounded him. A lost sister, family gatherings filled with tension, moments when love turned bitter. Guilt crashed over him, an avalanche of regret. "No," Lily cried, her voice piercing through the torment. "We are not defined by this. We can change the path." The words lit a spark within Samuel. "We choose hope. We choose healing." His voice climbed into the roar of the wind, filled with defiance. "This ends now." The creature writhed, racked with pain as beams of light erupted from where its heart would be. The shadows weakened, and with one last roar, it collapsed, leaving only a swirling mist behind. Samuel's heart thundered in his chest as he fell to his knees, gasping for breath. He felt lighter somehow, as if chains binding him to the past had been torn asunder. But he also felt the weight of the truths still hidden in the fog. "Did we really do it?" Lily whispered, disbelief mingling with relief. "Is it really over?" "Not yet," Samuel thought. He looked back at the figure, the keeper of this realm, who smiled knowingly. "Truth can lead you to freedom," it said, voice almost melodic. "But it can also unveil deeper scars that ache to be healed." Samuel stood, shaking off the remnants of doubt. "What now?" he asked, glancing back at the swirling mist. "What other secrets lie beneath?" The keeper's smile remained, but its eyes glinted with something darker. "The journey has only just begun. There are more truths, shadows yet to confront. And those truths may not belong to just you." Behind them, another rumbling passage of air cut like a knife through the chaos. Samuel's shoulders tightened. The creature was gone, but the shadows danced as if whispering new challenges. A chill crept down his spine. What if the real confrontation was still ahead? What revelations awaited? And as the forest shivered with anticipation, Samuel braced himself for the next truth, the one he could sense lurking just beyond the mist. The mist hung thick and heavy, swirling with secrets that pulled at Samuel's resolve. He could feel its cold fingers brushing against his skin, teasing him with shadows of what was yet to come. The forest, once a cacophony of chaos, now fell eerily silent. The weight of truth loomed in the air. Samuel, a familiar voice cut through the silence, piercing his focus. It was soft yet laced with urgency. "We can't just stand here." Lily glanced around, her eyes darting from tree to tree. "What if there's more? What if that wasn't all of it?" Her voice trembled with fear. Samuel turned to her, searching for something: comfort, reassurance, maybe even conviction of their next steps. "You felt it too, right? There's more to uncover." "But what?" Just then, the figure, elusive and shadowy, moved closer, its presence a stark contrast to the darkness that surrounded them. "The truth has many layers. Unraveling one reveals another, and another. You must dig deeper," it warned, its voice echoing with a haunting melody. Samuel's heart raced again. Trepidation and a flicker of determination coursed through him. "What do we need to do?" His voice was steadier now, bolstered by a quiet strength. Recall your memories. They hold the key. The mist will reveal what must be faced. The figure intoned, eyes flashing with purpose. Are you ready to confront what lies ahead? Without hesitation, Samuel took a step forward, propelled by a newfound resolve. More than ever, he declared, gripping Lily's hand firmly. Let us find out what is hidden. As they plunged deeper into the swirling fog, the air thickened, coiling tightly around them. Shadows danced erratically, flickering like candles in a wild wind. Samuel felt an uncanny sensation, each memory fluttering like trapped butterflies in his chest. Suddenly, the mist began to part, unveiling snippets of their past. Ghostly images materialized before them: a childhood birthday, the warmth of family laughter, sudden, heart-wrenching silence after the loss of his sister. Each moment was raw, visceral, steeped in memories he thought he had buried. Samuel, look! Lily shrieked, her voice laced with both awe and fear. They were not alone. Figures began to emerge from the mist, each one bearing familiarity. His parents, eyes shadowed in sorrow. His sister, lost to time, her face a reflection of longing. No, he gasped, stepping back. The haunting expressions felt like daggers to his heart. Why are they here? They're part of your truth, the figure murmured, its form shifting like a flame. Lily squeezed his hand tightly. It's okay. They once hurt you. They're part of your past, but they don't have to define your future. Samuel struggled for breath as the memories encroached, a tide threatening to pull him under. But I've failed them. Facing the truth means accepting that failure, the figure interjected, urgency threading its tone. Only then can you forge a new path. A flash of fear washed over him. Could he handle this? Did he dare relive the pain? Samuel, you have to look within, Lily urged, her voice steady. You can't change the past, but you can change how it affects you. With a determined gulp, Samuel stepped forward, pulling in a deep breath. I'm ready. I will confront my past, no matter how painful. As he did, the mist enveloped them again, swirling thicker, each memory clawing at his mind. He felt dizzy, burdened, but he pushed through. With every step, he embraced the cacophony of memories. Love, loss, regret. The images twisted and morphed, revealing the cracks in his family's facade. And just as a tremor of clarity sparked, another roar echoed from the depths of the forest, stronger, angrier, calling for attention. The darkness was not done with them. What is that? Lily gasped, pulling him close. Samuel squared his shoulders, fear gnawing at him, but he couldn't retreat now. I don't know, but we have to find out. And as the shadows collided around them, the air trembled with the promise of revelations yet to unfold. What truth would emerge next? What dark piece of their intertwined lives awaited discovery? With a push of courage, Samuel took another step into the unknown, the heartbeat of the forest pulsating ominously around them. The earth trembled beneath their feet as the roar echoed again, sending a wave of chill through Samuel's bones. The sound was a primal growl, like the angry breath of the forest itself. He exchanged a glance with Lily. Her eyes were wide, reflecting both determination and fear. Their grip tightened, a silent pact of bravery. Whatever it is, we face it together, he whispered, mustering all the conviction he could. The shadows loomed closer, and the mist twisted like serpents, gnashing at their heels. Suddenly, a figure barreled through the fog, barely visible at first, a silhouette lunging forward, a creature neither entirely human nor beast. Samuel's heart lurched. What is that? Panic surged through him, compressing his chest like a vice. It's a manifestation of your fears. Confront it, the ethereal figure urged, its voice now frenetic, echoing through the forest like a siren's call. The creature lunged again, and Samuel instinctively stepped back, but he felt Lily's hand anchor him. You have to stand your ground, she cried, her voice slicing through the confusion, grounding him. Summoning every ounce of courage, Samuel took a deep breath. I won't let you win. Each word was steeped in defiance as he stepped forward, challenging the creature that embodied his darkest memories. The instant his foot hit the ground, the mist around them exploded in swirls, painting the night with vibrant hues of light and shadow. You don't scare me," he shouted, although the tremor in his voice betrayed his resolve. The creature paused, recoiling slightly as Samuel's words hung heavily in the air. "That's right," Lily shouted, her face glowing with fierce encouragement. "Face it, it's just a shadow of what's inside you, a reminder you can conquer." With that surge of support, something within Samuel shifted. Memories cascaded through him, vivid images of grief mixed with moments he had cherished: the laughter of his sister, the warmth of his mother's embrace, the pride in his father's eyes on good days. It all flooded his mind like a powerful wave, washing out the fear that had rooted itself in the fibers of his being. "Your shadow has no power over you," he declared, the strength of his heart pouring into his voice. The entity shrank momentarily, the glow of truth pushing back against despair. Samuel remembered the pain, but he also remembered love, strength, and the lessons learned through loss. As the creature hissed in retort, the mist around it began to dissolve, revealing the cracks of its facade. This was more than a battle against fear. This was a confrontation with past mistakes, choices left unmade. Samuel felt a heat radiate from his core, igniting the shadows around him, lighting the path forward. "Let it go, Samuel," Lily urged, her eyes glimmering with raw emotion. "You have the power to break free from this cycle." With each utterance, Samuel felt fragments of himself falling into place, shedding the weight of blame. "I release you," he shouted, the fog swirling as if responding to his demand. The shadows convulsed, faltered, then began to dissolve into nothingness. Breathing heavily, Samuel remained focused, waiting for the final effort to break the grip of his darkest past. But just then, a deafening crash echoed through the woods. The ground beneath them quaked again, but this time it wasn't a roar that pierced the mist. It was an anguished scream, violent and raw, cutting through the night like a knife. "What was that?" Lily gasped, backing away instinctively, but Samuel stood tall. "I don't know, but it feels like something far worse is coming." And as the last remnants of the creature faded, Samuel could feel the forest breathe anew. Yet the heartbeat around them quickened again, thrumming like a warning with bated breath. They shared a look, and with rising dread, Samuel realized they were only at the beginning of something much darker than they had anticipated. What awaited them in the depths of the forest? Lily whispered, "We can't turn back now." "Can we?" "No," he replied, determination surging through him. "We have to see this through." The tension in the air thickened like the mist around them, wrapping tightly as they took another step into the uncertain shadows. Unbeknownst to them, something wicked stirred in the depths, a truth lurking, waiting to be uncovered. The scream echoed once more, drilling into Samuel's skull like a relentless drumbeat. Each pulse resonated deep into the earth, a harbinger of chaos just beyond the mists. "We need to move," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, barely keeping the rising panic at bay. Together, they stepped deeper into the fog, the shadows shifting erratically around them. The atmosphere was heavy, laden with an energy Samuel couldn't shake off. It felt alive, bristling with anticipation like the moments before a storm. "Where do you think that scream came from?" Lily asked, scanning the horizon that was shrouded in a swirling curtain of white and gray. The trees creaked eerily, their skeletal branches reaching out like the grasping hands of the damned. "I don't know, but we can't just stand here. We need to." His words were cut off by another crash. This one closer, more violent, sending a shower of leaves tumbling to the ground. Whatever was out there, it was clamoring for attention. A shiver crawled up Samuel's spine. His instincts screamed to run, but he pushed them aside. They had already faced one terror together. They couldn't falter now. "Just keep your eyes peeled," he murmured, squeezing Lily's hand tightly as they ventured through the damp underbrush. The mist danced, curling whimsically around their legs, whispering secrets behind their backs. The tension thickened, squeezing the air from Samuel's lungs as they moved further into the heart of the forest. Each crack of a twig, Every rustle of the leaves sent his heart racing. Overhead, branches creaked ominously, and the low rumble of thunder rolled in the distance like an ominous warning. Suddenly, from the mist emerged a glimmer, shimmering like dewdrops catching the light of an unseen sun. It pulled at Samuel's curiosity, and he found himself drifting toward it. "What is that?" Lily asked, her voice barely a murmur. "It looks like a glow," Samuel replied, unsure of what he was seeing. The soft light pulsed rhythmically, offering a strange kind of comfort in the growing darkness. "Should we? I don't feel right about this," she said, her eyes darting nervously around. "We won't know unless we try," he responded, his gut tightening, but a sliver of excitement danced beneath his fear. This might be the key they needed, something to guide them out of the terror lurking in the shadows. As they approached, the glow morphed into forms, flickering images of faces long gone, loved ones from lives they had lived. His sister appeared, laughing, his mother warm and loving. The air crackled as he felt memories rise, enveloping him. But right then, the light pulsed violently, and the faces twisted into expressions of anguish, their eyes pleading. The glow roared to life, becoming a tempest of energy that enveloped them, choking out the air. "Samuel!" Lily gasped, stumbling back. "What's happening? We have to push through," he shouted, battling against the pull of the light's chaos. Suddenly, the images collapsed, swirling into a maelstrom that screamed with all the voices of lost time. The forest quaked beneath their feet. Samuel felt a surge of power rushing through him, his heart pounding wildly as he braced for one final confrontation. The light erupted in a blinding flash, sending Samuel and Lily tumbling backwards. He clutched Lily, his heart racing. They hit the ground with a thud, the world spinning around them. When the chaos stilled, they found themselves in a clearing, the air now eerily silent. Before them stood enormous stones, ancient and moss-covered, looming like sentinels in the red glow of twilight. "Where are we?" Lily whispered, wide-eyed, fear and wonder mixing in the depths of her gaze. "I don't know," Samuel replied, standing slowly, his body trembling, instinctively feeling they had crossed a threshold. A prehistoric aura surrounded them, tinged fragile with time, and Samuel understood that whatever they had just touched was only the beginning as he took a cautious step forward. A sudden crash echoed again from the other side of the stones, sending a shudder through the ground. A voice, dark and commanding, called out, "You should not have come here." Samuel froze. His heart thumped painfully in his chest. What had they awakened? And what, or who, awaited them just beyond the stone threshold? "Ready?" he whispered to Lily, dread creeping into his soul. She nodded, but he could see the fear mirrored in her eyes. They both knew there was no turning back now. They pushed deeper, ready to face whatever monstrosity lurked beyond. In that moment, both felt it a chilling realization that this journey would uncover truths about themselves they wished had stayed buried. Samuel and Lily stepped through the ancient stones, feeling a force pull them forward into a deeper darkness. The air thickened, charged with palpable tension. That voice echoed again, deep and sinister, reverberating through their bones. "You have crossed a threshold meant for the brave or the foolish, and you are neither." The clearing twisted and warped around them, shadows writhed like living creatures. Samuel squinted, searching for the source of the voice. "What do you want?" he shouted, his voice cracking, filled with defiance. "We're not afraid of you. Fear, young Harrington, is not merely an emotion. It's a weapon. And you, dear boy, are wielding it against yourself." The voice hissed. The ground pulsed beneath their feet, unsettling Samuel. He felt a tightness in his chest, memories surging of family secrets and past traumas swirling in a chaotic haze. "Enough!" Lily's voice rang clear, sharp against the rising tension. "We didn't come here to cower. We're here to confront what has haunted our family, to break this cycle." Sudden silence fell. The shadows paused, and Samuel and Lily exchanged glances, a shared resolution passing between them. "What is it you're trying to protect?" Lily pressed, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. This family's legacy? What does that mean for our future? From the depths of the shadows emerged a figure, a dark silhouette, blending into the dusk. As it stepped closer, moonlight illuminated its shape, revealing familiar features twisted in sorrow and regret. Miss Henderson, you think you can confront the past without paying a price? She waved a hand, and the clearing darkened ominously. Is this what you want? Samuel shouted, desperation seeping through. For us to suffer forever? For our family to remain lost? The cycle can be broken, but not without sacrifice, she answered cryptically. You'll face what haunts you, and only then will you decide your fate. Sacrifice? Samuel felt the weight of that word, pressing down like a leaden presence. What does that even mean? The words tumbled out, anxiety simmering just below his composure. Suddenly, the ground trembled again, a force rippling beneath them. Shadows surged forward, coiling around his ankles. Make your choice, Ms. Henderson cried. Who will pay the price? Samuel's heart raced as the shadows tightened their grip, pulling him closer to the darkness. He took a deep, shuddering breath, casting a sideways glance at Lily. We need to see what lies beneath. The darkness must face the light. The whispers of the past swirled around them like a tempest. As he stepped forward, the shadows shrieked, revealing phantoms from his family's history, faces filled with betrayal, love, and suffering. Pain shot through him as he recognized each figure. I cannot erase the hurt, nor can I ignore it. Then bear witness, Harrington, came a voice. To the price you may pay, the legacy you choose to hold. With those words, images began to unfold: his mother weeping over lost dreams, his father's anger ignited by unspoken words. No more, Samuel shouted, fierce resolve coloring his voice. I will face this pain. As if triggered by his declaration, the shadows recoiled. An eerie light erupted from the stones. Illuminating the clearing, with it came an undeniable warmth that pushed against the cold memories. Together, Lily shouted, stepping forward alongside Samuel. We choose healing. We choose the truth of our legacy. In a blinding flash, beings cloaked in both light and dark materialized, their expressions reflecting the battle between anguish and hope. What do we do? She cried, but even in the clash of energy, Samuel felt clarity wrapping around him. Confront them, accept what has been buried and lost, and reclaim it. With one final, booming roar, the forces distorted, a kaleidoscope of his family's emotional landscape unraveling. As each face came into focus, Samuel stepped forward, accepting the burdens of the past. I acknowledge our pain. I acknowledge our fears. The brightness flared, engulfing them whole. The shadows twisted in protest, but like the roots of a tree breaking through concrete, so did the hope rise. We break the pact with love, not fear. We choose to heal. Samuel shouted louder, raw emotion spilling from him like an open wound. With that, the shadows shattered, splinters of darkness fading away as the light enveloped him and Lily, breaking the chains binding their family for generations. When the illumination subsided, they found themselves back in the parlor of the Harrington estate. The music box lay on the table, the haunting lullaby still echoing softly, but now it felt different, alive, vibrant. The weight of the past had lessened, the air sweeter, lighter. Did we really do it? Lily whispered, glancing around, her breath hitching in disbelief. Samuel searched the room, echoes of laughter from family gatherings drifting through the now sunlit space. I think we did, but we still have to remember the past is part of us. A lesson and a warning. He turned to Lily, a gentle smile breaking through his reflection. Now we can choose the kind of legacy we build. One filled with love, acceptance, and hope. As they embraced, relief poured over them like sunlight filtering through a cloudy sky. They had faced the darkness and reclaimed their truth. Looking outside, Samuel felt a tender breeze, as if the estate itself breathed a new beginning into existence. And in that moment, hope blossomed, a new chapter for the Harrington family taking flight. You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss any exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything,